Okay, we ready, folks? Okay. Folks, quiet, please. Okay, first, masks are required at Penn Station. Masks are required at Penn Station. We'll take them off when we speak, but not otherwise, okay? Okay. So, and I want to first welcome, I'll talk about the political side, and the Secretary will talk about the executive side. I want to welcome my great colleague. We have a great partnership across the river with Senators Gillibrand and You can't hear me? I'm talking pretty loud.
The mics are picking it up. Otherwise,
okay. All right. We have a great partnership with Senators Menendez and Senator Gillibrand, who couldn't be here today, but we have a great New Jersey, New York, hands across the river for Gateway and so many other things, and I'm very proud to be joined by my colleague, Senator Booker, who does a great job in that regard. And we have members of both our New York and New Jersey delegations. From New York, Congressman Nadler and Congressman Espaillat, and from New Jersey, Congress members Colon, Sherrill, Gottheimer, Malinowski, and Payne. Did I leave anyone out? Good. No. Okay. And a very special guest with us today. Hey, folks. Thank you. We have a very special guest. I asked him to come and look at Gateway firsthand, and he said yes right away. And he is somebody we all have amazing, amazing faith and hope in to rebuild America's infrastructure, both the traditional and the new infrastructure. Our great Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Buttigieg. Thank you for being here. It's that vital. So not only does building this tunnel means millions of hundreds of thousands of good-paying future jobs, but it means saving millions, maybe tens of millions of jobs to get this done on time. We don't have that much time. The Sandy storm eroded the tunnel of Gateway. Gateway was 100 years old. It wasn't in good shape to begin with. But when the salt water came in, it corroded everything. And I have an example of it somewhere.
It's heavy, Chuck.
It's heavy. It is heavy. It is heavy. This is an example of the corroded wiring that is part of Gateway. If we let it continue, it could be 7 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, but this tunnel will not last. So we are full speed ahead to get Gateway done. It is no secret that the Trump administration maliciously and vindictively held back this tunnel, even though all of us had appropriated good money for the tunnel. But now, with a new president who's an Amtrak rider and a new secretary who understands the need for Gateway, it's all systems go. All systems go. One of the first things I mentioned to President-elect Biden was Gateway. He said he's on board. One of the first things I mentioned when he was first nominated to Secretary Buttigieg, probably the first thing, was Gateway, and he's all on board. So the bottom line is, we in the Senate and the House will be able to procure in the two Build Back Better bill, in the two bills we are doing, the traditional infrastructure bipartisan bill and in the budget reconciliation bill, the billions of dollars we need to build Gateway. And Secretary Buttigieg has pledged to remove all of the bureaucratic and other barriers. So once we allocate that money, once we appropriate that money, things will move very quickly. We have no choice but to move quickly. We went and took an extensive tour of the Portal Bridge. The good news is the Portal Bridge money is allocated, everything's on board, and we should have construction next year. We saw the Portal Bridge. We saw the tunnels, we saw the corrosion, we saw how old and outdated and possibly, if there's ever a real accident, dangerous they are. This is a picture of one of them. For those of you who couldn't come on the ride. Okay, so let me say a few more things here. I want to make sure I get everything in. Huh? Sí. Here's what I can say in Spanish. Sí se puede. But that's about it. Mucho gracias. Okay, so I think, Angelo, am I leaving anything out?
Just the things you were going to announce, which are...
Yes. Okay. They write all these, like all of you, they write all this great work and then we just freelance it, so we have to really... Okay, so today we can announce that the hostage that was Gateway Tunnel under the previous administration has been set free. And we are on a rapid path to get it done. What we call our visit today and subsequent actions is the Gateway turnaround. We are turning it around, and we're going to turn it around in quicker time than people ever thought was possible. So we are pledging as a delegation, by state delegation, to bring billions of dollars. Secretary Buttigieg is pledging that once the money is allocated, to get it done quickly. As I said, all systems go on Gateway. Secretary, thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. I want to thank Leader Schumer for his advocacy and his leadership on this issue and so many important issues. I want to thank Senator Booker for his friendship, and each of the members of the House and the House delegations from both sides of the river have been working nonstop, and I can assure you, getting my attention nonstop on the importance of the Gateway project. When I first spoke to Leader Schumer after getting this new job, I made two promises to him right away. One, that I would make sure to come out here and have a look directly at what was going on in the tunnels. And two, that there would be no politically imposed barriers to getting this done, that we were going to do the right thing and tear down any unnecessary bureaucracy and work together to make sure that these things could advance. While I'm here, I will also want to acknowledge some other leaders who are with us. Our FTA Administrator, Nuria Fernandez, who we are delighted to have had confirmed recently by the Senate. Our Federal Rail, where's Nuria? Here. Our Federal Rail Administrator, Deputy Administrator Amit Bose, who's been working so hard on this issue and others. The entire leadership of Amtrak, Chairman, the CEO, and the President, all here, and we thank you for their heroic work, especially with what COVID did to Amtrak, keeping things going and moving things forward as they envision the Hudson going forward. Thanks to everybody and all the essential workers of Amtrak who you lead. We really appreciate you. So, and one more acknowledgement I want to make. She couldn't be here today. She's holding down the fort in Washington, but our Deputy Secretary, Polly Trottenberg, a great New Yorker who's doing phenomenal work, helping to lead the Department of Transportation.
Former Schumer employee for 9 years.
Part of the alumni club. So, look, I won't belabor the point, but we just saw in the Hudson River tunnels, the bridges, and the other parts of what makes up the Gateway, future Gateway project, critical infrastructure for the United States of America. And I do mean for the United States of America. It's vitally important to New York, it's vitally important to New Jersey, it's vitally important to the Northeast Corridor, but the impacts of this corridor are so great that if there were a loss of service, if one of these tunnels were to go out of service, you would be feeling the economic impact all the way back in Indiana where I come from. That's how important this is. Now what we saw, as the Amtrak president said when we were going through the tunnels, is building techniques and transportation technology representing the absolute state of the art of 1910. It was the best construction that you could possibly get 110 years ago. Now it is time to upgrade and secure this infrastructure for the 21st century. We cannot afford to continue relying on investments that were made more than a century ago And, not less important, it is not getting any cheaper to fix. Each passing year, this will get more expensive. And when we were in that tunnel, the leader pointed out a light, a literal light at the end of the tunnel. And we believe that that light is the American Jobs Plan, because we now need the dollars and the resources to get this done. And we will do as much as we can on a bipartisan basis. So I want to thank everyone here for their leadership, and I want to thank everyone with Amtrak and our own team for working together to get this done.
Thank you. Just two things I didn't mention that are just specifics. In the bipartisan plan, which will be part of what we need, there is $49 billion for transit and $66 billion for rail, which really gives us a great start in getting the money we need. And second, thanks to the Secretary, the ROD and the EIS that were being held up. On May 28th, they approved the EIS and the ROD. Those are two technical things, but you can't go forward unless they got done. And so he's not just talking the talk, he's already walking the walk. As I said, we have a great bipartisan partnership here, and one of my great partners and one of the best senators we have is Senator Cory Booker from the great state of New Jersey.
It is an incredible honor to be standing here side by side with Chuck Schumer and the delegation from New York and New Jersey. We stand united in the urgency that we must get these tunnels built and the problems in the great choke point that exists on the Northeast, where 20% of the U.S. economy is represented. This choke point, this clogged artery, must be cleared. And what we have now is an alignment between the House of Representatives, the United States Senate, and thank God, the Biden administration, represented here today by our great new Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. And so we are moving with all deliberate speed. And I just want to give you an example. That EIS statement, that sounds a little technical, the environmental impact statement, we asked for that literally 4 years ago. It was held up the entire 4 years of the Trump administration. The bureaucracy stopped us from getting something that should have been basic done so we can move this project forward. Well, Chuck Schumer was right. The block has been removed. It is a new day, and we are moving all speed ahead to get this project done. We are going to get it funded in the transportation infrastructure dollars we're getting there, and this administration, under the leadership of Peter Buttigieg, has prioritized it. So this is a new day, a new hope, and we, with the professionals that represent transportation in this region, will get this project done. Ahora, rápidamente, en español, porque el mejor estado es obvio, es New Jersey. ¿Sí?
Sin duda.
Sí. La situación ahora es inaceptable. Necesitamos un new tunnel y vamos a tener éxito ahora porque tenemos un nuevo presidente y nuevo secretario del Departamento de Transportación, Pete Buttigieg. So vamos a tener éxito, tengo fe y esperanza por un día nuevo. Gracias.
We're going to call on one representative from each of the delegations, the senior members, Senator Nadler and Senator Pallone. So Senator Nadler. Congressman, sorry. I didn't mean to decrease your stature.
It's all a matter of point of view. It's all a matter of point of view. I am very glad to be here with the rest of the delegation and with Secretary Buttigieg representing the Biden administration to finally get this project moving. After 4 years of blockage by the Trump administration, of blocking things that should have been simple, of blocking the EIS, of blocking for this vital project for the entire Northeast, it is very, very good that we're here today, and I want to congratulate the Biden administration especially for removing the roadblocks and getting us on our way.
Thank you, Jerry. Senator Pallone.
Thank you. Let me thank the Secretary for being here today and being so supportive on behalf of the Biden administration. I just want to say on behalf of our House members from New Jersey. We're obviously all in. You'll see members from all over the state. I'm actually an hour away, but we use the North Jersey coastline to get to the city, and we go through the tunnel as well. And whether it's local commuters or it's the nation, this project is so vital. And I just want to say this, I've been around a long time. I remember when we actually dedicated the tunnel with Senator Lautenberg, going back I don't know how many years ago. And it was only because of the Trump administration, not only that they wouldn't do the EIS, that they lowered the priority for this project so it wasn't even eligible for federal funds. And that has changed dramatically under the Secretary and under the Biden administration. And we are also determined now to get the funding with these House and Senate infrastructure bills on the President's desk so that we'll have the money to do this. It is huge for our area, and thank everyone for helping and everything they're going to do in the future. Thank you again, Mr. Secretary.
We have one more guest who came who reminds me of a very important part of this project. It's a four-letter word. J-O-B-S, jobs. There are going to be tens of thousands, if not more than 100,000 good-paying jobs here in the New York, New Jersey area to undertake this project, which will be the largest public works project in America. And Gary LaBarbera of the New York Building Trades has joined us. So thank you. All right. Questions for myself, the Secretary, or anyone else? On topic only.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, you're not the first man from Washington to come and look at our rotten train tunnel and say you're going to fix it. Why should New Yorkers think that you're going to get it done? And it's not just that. There's a half-built subway tunnel in East Harlem that we're waiting on $3 billion to fix. So what's different? Why should people expect that this administration is going to get it done?
Well, maybe I'm the first man from Indiana to be in a position to help fix it. This is something, again, that is a nationwide concern. And at the same time, as you say, folks have been talking a lot about infrastructure for a long time. Infrastructure Week became a punchline in Washington. But this time, for the first time in a long time, we have total alignment between the President of the United States, the Biden-Harris administration, leadership in the House, the Senate, and importantly, the American people to do big things in infrastructure. Not just the original jobs plan, but the bipartisan deal represents the biggest investment in passenger rail alone since the creation of Amtrak to begin with. The biggest federal investment in public transit, I believe, ever. These are the kinds of levels of ambition we're going to need in order to address the challenge that we're at, because it's not enough to go to all this trouble just to keep America in 13th place in transportation infrastructure. We got to position ourselves to lead the world.
No more. You get one question. No. I want to say quiet. We'll call on one person at a time, but I just want to say one thing in answer to his question. He's already walked the walk. The Trump administration held hostage the environmental impact statement, the EIS, and the record of decision, the ROG. He approved both of them within a few months of the administration. Trump held it up for 4 years. Okay? Yes. Got to speak a little louder. Yes. Yes. I believe that both states will each, we asked them a while back to put in 50%, while the feds put in 50%. They agreed, and both states are moving along to get that done. Yes. No, stop. We're not. You got to let us call on people. He's next.
Do you want to do that? That's only question that involves the EIS.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
To answer your question as best that I possibly can, I think I'm Tony Kosher, the chairman of Amtrak's board of directors. I have been part of this project for a very long period of time. Concerns about exactly how to build this and what elements ought to be part of it are a good and proper part of this debate. And we have had them in many ways, and we're going to continue to have them. But the EIS that was approved after an exhaustive review of all the options available. And we came up with a way of building this tunnel that we think protects the safety, reliability, and effectiveness of what we're trying to build here. It is on us, those of us who are proposing this, Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, the Port Authority, and all of the partners involved, including my colleagues at the Gateway Development Corporation, Steve Cohen, Balpeet Grul. It is on us to convince all of the funding partners that we are doing our job and we're doing it effectively. As far as any concerns are raised about it, we are addressing all of those, and we will, in fact, build this in the smartest, best way possible. And I think the EIS and the record of decision reflects the fact that that level of due diligence was done to create an opportunity for us to always maintain 2 operating tracks across the Hudson River at all times, and at points during this process we'll have 3 available until we get to the full 4 maximum that the full build-out is. This is a smart, thoughtful approach to this process, and we will, in fact, I think, prevail on everyone to see it that way.
We can stand here all day, and as Tony said, he's going to figure out the best way to go. But we could stand here all day and keep waiting. We can't do that. We must move quickly. Yes. 66 billion. No, that's in the bipartisan plan that the president and the bipartisan group agreed to.
Kramer?
Yes, Marcia. Yes, we would like the building. The building plan is now sometime in 2023. We're trying to get it moved up to 2022. I have a lot of hope that with all of this enthusiasm that we can do that. It takes a long time.
How long? 6, 7 years?
The whole project, as I said, it's the largest public work projects in America. Different parts of it will be finished at different times. The Portal Bridge will be done very quickly, but it should take 6, 7 years till it's all done. Okay? Yes. Just say.
So this is a partnership, and from the federal administration perspective, we're going to look after federal dollars and make sure that they're used in the right way, in partnership with the states that are putting up their part of it. If they have concerns, we can talk through them, but as the chairman said, this is the result of a lot of technical expertise and a lot of thorough community input, evaluating the different alternatives and assessing the best way to move forward.
Nope, that's it. Nope, 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 nope. We don't let, you can't keep, he answered your question twice. Yes.
This is a question for the Secretary. There are questions of the floor of the tunnel. What did you see down there? Were you surprised by anything as far as the conditions of the tunnel?
Yeah. You know, it's one thing to hear about it, it's another to see it, which I think is why the senator and his colleagues have been urging me to see it for myself. You go into that tunnel and you look up and you see the concrete spalling. You can start to see some of the rebar exposed under it. You see the consequences of seawater that came in, accelerated by Superstorm Sandy, and further degrading the infrastructure there. You see these concrete casings that have 12,000 volt high voltage cables going through them, like that. We should get one more look at that thing. Like that piece that you saw, which can fail in ways that take the tunnel out of service. We saw the way it was built. Again, the best way you can imagine, circa 1910. There we go. Yeah, all right.
This is very heavy.
So this stuff runs through concrete casing, and the entire technology is severely outdated. Pieces of it can literally blow. They want us to hold it up. It's turning into a workout.
1, 2.
Yeah. All right.
Good. Thank you. I got it.
There's not even a proper way to, I mean, you can do it, but there's not an ideal way to exit a train in an emergency because the ledge is so much higher than the base level of the train. When you see these things, you understand what's at stake in getting this right, and you see just the scope of the project. For all of these reasons, we need to act. You know, you can feel when your infrastructure is the best in the world, and we can feel that in the U.S., that's no longer the case. And that's why we feel such a sense of urgency to do something about it.
To close, we're going to have Tony Kosha. Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. And I cannot express how grateful we all are to the leadership of Senator Schumer and Secretary Buttigieg. You know, there's a lot to be said about showing up when something important has to be done. The Secretary and the leader have shown that by showing up, they've kept the momentum behind this project, and now we will see something done. For generations, people have kicked this can down the road, and we are not doing it any longer. This is the moment in time when we will prove that as an American economy, we can build the large infrastructure projects, we can adapt to technology that allows us to be innovative, and in fact, we will reverse that trend and build a new America that is fair for all and includes all. Thank you very much for coming and appreciate everyone's support.
We have a little more time for our House members to say a few words each. Adriano Espillat.
Thank you, Senator, Secretary, for being here. This railway is suffering from a real blockage of the heart arteries, right? It has high cholesterol. You can live with high cholesterol, but one day you'll get a heart attack, right? And so we got to clean it up. We got to make it right. We got to make it healthy for the region. It's a national security issue. It's not just local. It's not just New York or New Jersey. It's national security. So I'm here to work with the senator, the secretary, and then one day we'll take a tour of the 2nd Avenue subway. Take care.
Thank you. Congressman Payne from Newark.
Thank you. It's a real honor to be here. And I first want to thank the secretary for coming up. You know, as is stated, once he was in position, we started really explaining to him the importance of this project. And I am just delighted that this administration has put their money where their mouth is. Well, the money's coming, but they've shown up and looked at this as an important infrastructure project, the most important infrastructure project in the nation. And I'm just delighted that the Secretary came today, and we're looking forward to a great project being completed. You know, it was first scuttled by Governor Christie, the ARC Tunnel, and now we have the Gateway Project, which was lingering for 4 years under the past administration. But we're moving forward with host pace, at a rapid pace. So thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
And by the way, in reference to Adriano's question, if we get the kind of major infrastructure spending we want, there's not only money for Gateway, but other projects in New York and New Jersey, like the 2nd Avenue subway. Congressman Malinowski and the East River Tunnel.
Thank you, Senator. When I got elected in 2018 and I ran on this issue, I got myself on 2 House committees, the Foreign Affairs Committee and the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. And I've been telling my constituents I have a simple job in Washington. That's dig a tunnel and save the world, in that order. And we now have, thankfully, a Secretary of Transportation and a President who are totally dedicated to digging this tunnel. And by the way, we can't save the world if we have infrastructure that is not the envy of the world. So this is a twofer. The important thing is, you guys were writing down some of the numbers that Senator Schumer was giving you. Every single version of the infrastructure bill that is being debated right now in Washington funds the Gateway Tunnel, this whole project. So this is going to get done, plus a whole bunch of other necessary projects up and down the Northeast Corridor, including some things that are necessary to make these trains move a lot faster. So I couldn't be happier. We are about to send a powerful message to the country and to the world that America is ready to build big and great things again. Thank you.
Senator Gottheimer, Congressman Gottheimer.
Thank you so much.
Just showing such respect for my colleagues.
Thank you so much, Leader and Mr. Secretary. Thank you so much. This is pretty simple. One, we've got a crumbling train infrastructure that's 110 years old. We just saw it. We've got to fix it. The second good part of the news, though, is we've got a bipartisan deal in Washington with $66 billion in it to fix this crumbling tunnel and to get our rail moving. It's pretty simple. Now we can't let the bipartisan deal get derailed. We've got to get it done and get it done now. And so I couldn't be happier to be here to make sure we get it on track. Thanks so much.
No. Congressman Sherrill. No, come on, go ahead.
Well, since you've been so kind and showing us respect, I'll call you Speaker Schumer from now on. But it's wonderful to be here, and it's great to hear our Secretary of Transportation echoing the talking points that I've been saying for years. Hearing that he deeply understands how critically important this is, not just here in New York and New Jersey, but to the nation. But I will add something, Secretary, that maybe in Indiana they don't know, is that this is personal here in New Jersey. This is the difference between moms and dads getting home in time for dinner. This is the difference between making a soccer game or a lacrosse game. So this is a quality of life issue. It's also a huge economic issue in our area, and that's why we've been fighting so hard for it. And to have an administration that gets that is such a relief. So it's wonderful that we're moving forward on this project.
Thank you, everybody. Do not